So good evening, one and all. Today we are going to start the live session on Tally Prime. It is a new session, new live session. In this session we are going to discuss on the very important accounting feature, cost center and cost category. These two features are very important to every one of you. Today we are dealing with many accounts. Sometimes we may not have cost center for different account and different purpose. Okay, so it is very useful for everybody. Okay, so these accounts are very important to everyone. Let us see what is the cost center. So Tally Prime cost center is for to tracking the income and expenses, which you can do the department wise, employee wise, project wise and branch wise and event wise, and without creating too many ledgers. So it helps the management analyze where money being spent and earned. So we need not to create more ledger. So we can use a cost center that will be helpful to avoid those things. So why use cost center? Suppose your company has 3 departments. One is sales department, HR department, IT department. Even in some company may have many more departments, but here I took only these 3. So you pay a total electricity bill for rupees 15,000. So without cost center, the entire 15,000 appear under electricity expenses. We may not know which department spend more. Okay, so there will be a problem on that. So with cost center, so you may distribute the amount. Sales department 6,000, HR department 4,000, IT department 5,000. Now you can easily identify which department is consumed more resources. For this, we need not to have multiple ledgers. So the management want to know this cost centers like that, Tally workshop, Excel workshop, like that. You may do that. For example, you take this one expenses which is spending for hall rent, refreshment charges, printing charges, like that. So how do we record this expenses? Tally workshop and that Excel workshop. Let us we go to Tally Prime directly. So I have already created the company. Now I am going to show how do you create the cost center. So first, how do you create cost centers? You go to company. In company we have a feature, or you can directly press F11. You can press accounting feature. In this feature you can see there is an option accounting. Under the accounting we have cost center. So you may enable this, yes. Once you enable it, please save Ctrl A. So now this feature is activated for your company. So it may not come directly. So we have to activate the feature first. After that only you can use the cost center. Okay. Now let us see how to do the cost center for this particular expenses. Now I am going to create a ledger. For example, I am going to create all expenses account. So this one is indirect expenses and refreshment expenses, indirect expenses. So you can create these two things. Sometime you may not know whether the cost center activated or not for this company. So you can press F12 configuration, and you can activate if you want to see more features, if you want to show. So for example, if you want to apply the cost center ledger, you want to apply yes, you can see there is a option to see whether the cost center activated or not in this company, this particular ledger. Now we go to voucher. You may choose payment voucher. Now you can choose all expenses. For example, for this hall, how much amount you have spent for it. For example, for this hall, based on the example, so for hall rent we can allocate 6,000. For Excel workshop we can allocate 4,000. So what we can do, we can create two cost center for this. How do we create cost centers? We can go to create, we can go to cost center, we create tally workshop and Excel workshop. So you can create like this two ledgers like this. After that you can go to voucher. In voucher you can choose all expenses. For example, how much amount you spend for overall hall rent is 10,000. So you can put 10,000 here. Then next you can choose the tally workshop. You have spent 6,000. For Excel workshop you have spent 4,000 rupees. So you can allocate like this way. So ignore the negative cash. Similarly, for the refreshment also you can do the same thing. So refreshment, overall 5,000. Now for tally workshop you have spent 3,000. For Excel workshop you have spent 2,000. So now you can pay it by the cash. So likewise you can distribute your amount. So how do you take the report on this? We go to display more report. We go to statement of accounts, cost center breakup. So you see there is a breakup that you can see that, and even you can go cost center break individually. You can view what are all the expenses you can spend so far. So all the detail you can get it in the cost center itself. Okay, now we will discuss few more example you may understand in detail. Example, department wise salary tracking. Suppose there is a department accounts, admissions and HR. In each department there is a persons are working. So if you want to create the cost center, you create like accounts department, admission department and HR department like this. So you can create this salary, HR department 30,000, admission department 25,000, HR department 35,000. Like this you can create. So now how do we do that? How do we create cost center? Again, I am going to create cost center. So I am going to create accounts department under primary, HR department, under primary, and admission department, under primary you can create. Okay, So once you create all this department, now we go to voucher. We can start posting this. Alt C. We create a salary account under indirect expenses is already there. For salary, I can say 90,000 overall amount. Now we see that admission department, how much amount we have paid for admission department. You see for admission we are paying 25,000. For accounts we are paying 30,000. For HR we are paying 35,000. So automatically the amounts are distributed as per your wish. So the cost centers you may create like this. Okay, I have another example. There is a school college transportation. There is a 3 buses. If you are spending diesel expenses, you may also have bus 1, bus 2, bus 3 like that. Suppose if you have more than one cost center, more cost centers, you may find some problem to mingle all these things. So what you can do, you create a cost category. So how do we do that cost category? Now again I go back to create and I go to show more, then select cost category. Under the category you create a category like transport category. So in this transport there is revenue and non-revenue, both are yes. So now we go to cost center again and change the primary category as transport. So now we create bus 1, bus 2, bus 3, like this we create it. And now we go to ledger, voucher. Now we create fuel charges, indirect expenses under cost center. Yes, let us say for example I paid 30,000 is the fuel charges. So now we choose the category first, transport. Under this we choose bus 1, how much you have spent for bus 1, how much you have spent for bus 2, how much you have spent for bus 3. So you can distribute like this. So if we have more cost centers, you can create cost category. That will be very useful for you. Easily you can distribute the expenses. Like that, if suppose you have a NGO project wise expenses, you can create like education project, health project, women entrepreneur project. Likewise you create it. So project is the category. Under the each category you may create cost centers. Event wise expenses tracking also you create like annual day, sports day, cultural festival. So stage decorations you may distribute like this way. So likewise you may have more and more branches and project you can create under the cost center. The advantage of this, when you go report, you may have a detailed report on that. So we need not to create an individual ledger for each unit. You may have a common ledger which can be distributed based on your requirement. So cost center is a very useful feature for your work. So Tally ERP that allow you to do this one. So the cost center and cost category you cannot access directly. So first you need to go company, then activate the future, this one, enable cost center, yes. After that only you can do this one. Then you go to statement of accounts and you can create the cost centers whenever it required. You go to create cost center first. Suppose you have a multiple cost centers, you can create cost category first. If you create cost category first, when you create a cost center, carefully you choose the category. In each category, you may have different cost centers. So don't create all cost centers under one category. That will create a confusion. After you create all these things, how do we take the report? You go to display more reports and go to statements of accounts and cost centers. In cost centers, there will be a multiple reports available. You can go ledger breakup or group breakup. So whatever you want, you can create. So today, this session, I have explained the detailed report on this cost center, then how to use cost center for our company. Thank you.